Rock. Good morning. It is March 5th, Thursday of 2026. I'm pulling up my own stream here and then we're diving right in. There we go. So good morning, everyone. If this is your first time here or if you're watching us on the live playback, what we're going to be doing is looking at the overall crypto market. We'll look at silver, we'll look at gold, we're gonna definitely look at oil because that's back up on the rise, and we'll look at the US stock market and the Japanese bond market. Also want to look at the Dubai stock market today. Dubai got hit pretty hard in their open, not looking great. We're gonna break all of this down in today's stream. Gonna say good morning to the family and then we're gonna dive straight in. So good morning, gangsta. Good morning, Echo. Echo, I'm sorry about FXRP, man. I wish I had better news for you. If you guys don't know, in the United Kingdom, they can't participate in FXRP. Some sort of legislation issue over there. I guess because the UK doesn't have clarity, they don't allow it. That's unfortunate. I wish there was something we could do about that. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Mill. Good morning, Stav. Good morning, Steve. Steve, big thanks to you. Steve works in oil and gas, and I've been picking his brain about how all of this stuff works. So we definitely want to be checking the Brent Oil charts. WTI crude is still nice, but it's not really the primary thing that Japan's ordering. So it gives us some good insight. It is the Brent oil price that we are looking at, and that's been on the rise. Sorry if I'm having a little bit of hiccups this morning. I was chasing my food down before the stream started. I go to the gym in the morning, and today I was at the gym a little longer than I normally am. So running a little behind today. But we're going to jump straight into the charts, start taking a look at things. By the way, I just want to, since I'm here, would you guys like this chart analysis as a pre-recorded video? Because some people have said that, you know, the streams are great, but they can't always make them, or, you know, that it can be kind of daunting to click on a stream that's 2 hours long. I'm considering tomorrow just doing like a weekly recap video. Just it's the same stuff we do on the stream, but this would be a pre-record. If you guys think that'd be cool, let me know. I think I'm going to do it one way or another. Just because not everybody can join the streams, and this would just be a way to get this type of content out to those that aren't able to make it. Interesting comment from XD3. He says 10 million in ETF inflow just this morning. Is there a specific ETF? We can definitely look at it. XRP now has 5 different ETFs, so if you know which ETF that was, we can definitely pop in. But you guys, I totally called it, by the way. At least in my Discord I did. I said, hey, what's the over-under? We're going to see $1.40 XRP by the time we wake up tomorrow. Well, look at that. I saw this one coming. I said it on the stream yesterday. Until we get 5 days in a row that are green, I'm not getting excited about any of the if we have a 5% day. So what? It's like it's going to be 5% back down the next day. That just seems to be the trend that we've been following. I mean, if you look at a monthly chart, it almost looks like waves in an ocean. So we go up, then we go back down. You go up, then you go back down. So the only way I'm going to start getting optimistic about this market, and by the way, separate the charts from the technology for a moment. The only way I'm going to get excited about the charts or the movement of the price is if we start to see some forward momentum that actually sticks. So I'm going to need to see more than, 24 hours of green candles. I'm going to be needing to see at least a week of solid progress before I start to think that maybe we're finally on the way out of this. Good morning, Iman. So this is, XRP. It's basically same story all around the market. Bitcoin last night capped off at the highest. It got all the way up to 74,000. It kind of looked like it was going to go on a run. I knew not to hold my breath, and sure enough, as the day continued to progress, it goes down and down and down. Then, overnight it goes back up, but I'm going to bed around here and waking up here. So all of this movement in the middle of the night, I wasn't awake for that. So to me, you basically just go from here to here. It's almost as if this little bump here never happened. So I kind of had a feeling this was the direction it was going to go. I kind of called that yesterday on the stream. I don't always like being right, but I do like being right. So Bitcoin back to 71,000, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We can see that really for the past month, Bitcoin's been pretty flat, and I hate to say it, but the rest of the market is kind of beholden to Bitcoin, at least for now. So until we see decoupling, you kind of have to use Bitcoin as the standard. Really been flat since around February 5th when we had that major dip. Not a whole lot has happened since, but it does seem to some extent like the worst might be over, because this does tell me there's some consolidation. So let me tighten this chart up to maybe a 3 or 4 months. So tightening this up from September to now, we got one flat month here in February. It's still down, but it's not like crazy down. This could be a signal of bottoming. Now, of course, this right here was flat too. So, that could be the trend. If we're going to go down, it'll probably be a sharp fall off. So, in January, December, we're looking at a $90,000 Bitcoin. In just a matter of days, goes from 90 all the way down to, at the lowest, it got down to 62. I mean, that's actually a pretty sharp fall there. Stayed flat for a month. Are we going to see it do one more fall? I'm no fortune teller. I actually think that it will. I don't think that this conflict over in the Middle East is going to be good for crypto, especially, Dubai is kind of the crypto capital of the Middle East. Whether you could say they're the capital of the world or not, that's up for debate. But it's certainly, got a lot of traffic going through Dubai as far as crypto is concerned. So to see that the Dubai stock market is opening quite low, 4.5% dip. In just one day. Now this chart doesn't really look that great, so I put it out to 5 here. Really, hold on, let me make sure that I'm looking at the right times here. So really, we got here, this little blip here is that 5% dip. Now it also dipped about 5% earlier in the week. So if you add the cumulative total, the Dubai stock market's down a combined total of 9% in just 5 days. It's down 14% on the month. So we can see that there was some tensions rising, but really when the missiles started flying, that's when things started to tank. So if Dubai's stock market's falling, I have to imagine we're probably going to see some of that hit crypto as well, because Dubai, let's face it, is more supportive of crypto than the United States is, at least for now. And that's the trend that I see it going. And as long as Bitcoin's tied, or as long as these altcoins are tied to Bitcoin, that's the situation we're faced with. Now, I've watched this in real time. We started the stream and XRP was at 141. Now we're dipping into the 140s. So this thing might be falling in real time as we look at it. I mean, this is to be expected, you guys. We got some very what's the word I'm looking for here? It's the word that goes before circumstances. I have these brain farts sometimes where it's like the word is on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't recall it. Maybe I'll just use the word extraordinary. We've got some extraordinary circumstances here that a lot of our favorite coins are going to be down for a while as long as this conflict continues. I would just say, obviously we're dollar cost averaging, we're buying and holding. H bar's down below 10 cents again. I'm seeing up here on my chart on my own screen that Flare, is 9/10 of a penny again. So this is all really good buying opportunities. I think, if you're in a position to be accelerating, or you kind of put your foot on the gas, this is a great time to be accumulating. I might also suggest, this is kind of just because of the circumstances, it might be a good idea to stock up on, water, some sort of food that doesn't expire. So like, maybe you get like a couple tubs of peanut butter, things like that. Things that have protein, things that have carbohydrates in them for quick, easy energy. So like jars of jelly, just things like that, because we might find ourselves in a situation where our own economy gets hit pretty hard by this. Whenever the price of oil goes up, it makes the price of everything go up. So if you just think of oil as energy, energy costs go up, and that's going to make quite literally everything in your life more expensive, as if things weren't already expensive, right? So we might start to see grocery items going back up at pretty alarming rates. This could be a time where it's like, well, I do want to make myself rich through crypto, but maybe survival, at least in the interim, might be a little bit more important. It's going to be different for everybody depending on what your situation is and what you're able to provide for yourself. Quant sitting at around $65. I'd like to be buying more quant. Right now, my quant buying's on hold until we get a little bit more stability, not in the crypto market, but just stability in the world in general. My dollar cost averaging lately has not been too aggressive. I'm kind of just trying to stay afloat here in the real world. So I would be more aggressive with my buying strategy if we had a little bit more certainty that things aren't going to escalate. I'm not going overseas, but that doesn't mean that things couldn't get bad here in our own environment. There we go. Frank got it for me. Unprecedented. There we go. I don't know why this happens to me, but sometimes the word I want to say, it's like I can see it in my mind, but there's like this cloud covering the actual word, even if I know the definition. Very interesting stuff. I get it from my dad. My dad was that way all the time. You can imagine the two of us talking to each other. We'll get to an impasse where each of us has a word we're trying to say, but we can't recall what it is. So interesting problem to have, but it happens to me all the time. Sometimes it happens at the worst times. I pray you guys never get this. I've forgotten people's names to their faces before, and it's horribly embarrassing, but it's something cognitive. But anyways, market is basically, it hasn't moved up or down in the past couple of days. It's been pretty flat. I'm wondering though, maybe we do see another 10 to 15% fall. By the way, my mouse wheel seems to be working normal today. Did some mouse hygiene care, got those dog hairs out of it, and as you can see, my mouse wheel is working. So happy about that. Gonna look over at the bond market for Japan's 10-year bond. It is on the rise again. We're at 215. Hasn't been to 215 basically since the beginning of February now. Well, maybe that's not entirely true. At least middle of February. It had some easing. Now it's going back up. Let's keep an eye on this, because at the same time that this is moving up, the Brent Oil is back above 13,000. Now, yesterday it did correct itself a little bit, but now it's approaching new all-time highs, at least for this calendar year. We can see that at the absolute highest, it was at 13,192. I mean, we're basically there at 13,150. I wouldn't be surprised if while we're streaming it goes beyond that. And then, if you draw this thing out to a year, we'll see that oil in Japan this is its annual high. It has not been this high in over a year, but it has been this high many years ago during the COVID era, we did see it go as high as 15,000 during, everybody remembers the wonderful years of COVID when you had to sit inside your house or your apartment and wear a mask even when you're indoors by yourself because you don't want to get someone's grandma who's 1,000 miles away sick, So you gotta think about other people. Anyways, oil was super expensive back then. Then it came back down. We're on the rise back up. This could be the catalyst that causes the reverse carry trade to make XRP the coin we've all been hoping that it becomes. I'm very bullish still. I don't. So even though we're going through some rough times right now, I still believe in XRP as much as I ever have. Whether we have the reverse carry trade or not, it's only a matter of time before XRP replaces the rails of the financial system. The reverse carry trade just accelerates it, or at least it's like it's the first domino to fall. It doesn't have to be the only domino. Like, using analogies, if it doesn't happen now, maybe it just happens later. But the end result is the same. By 2030, we'll all be looking back on these days and saying, man, I remember being there in 2026. Who knows? A couple years from now, this could be this very time period could be the thing we cover on the channel saying, hey man, you guys remember how bad it was in 2022 and then in 2026 it was also bad, and now we're all in our space Lamborghinis flying our X-wings through the Death Star. Gangsta Goblin says, my favorite was seeing everyday people wearing masks in their cars. I like that everyone here seems to be on the same page. I even in my area, I kind of live in a little bit more of a blue area. Every once in a while, I still see people wearing masks in their cars, and I'm just wondering, like, I want to put myself in the mind of that person. I want to understand what is it that they're thinking. What is their mental state that they somehow feel like wearing a mask inside their car does anything. Or maybe it makes them feel comfortable, Maybe it's like a concealing your identity. Maybe it's like kind of like wearing sunglasses for your teeth. I mean, there could be elements of that at play where it's like, oh, I just don't really want to be recognized right now, so I'll put this blue stringy mask on my face. But I always did think that whole thing was very strange. I guess it'd be a good way to know if you have bad breath. It's like a bad breath indicator. Like, let's see how my breath is stinking today. It's like, oh, it's really bad. Well, I better keep the mask on. Or maybe if you got like really bad teeth and you can't afford Invisalign, then maybe that's another reason people are wearing the mask. But I never could understand, like, all jokes aside, not. When I'm not being facetious, it's like, what is, can I put myself in that situation and try to understand it? And I never was able to. Steph says, I saw a woman wearing a mask near the end of 2025. I was just shaking my head thinking, seriously, yeah, I just don't get it. How did we get to this point? Oh yeah, we're looking at oil, and oil was expensive back in the mask era. Well, I actually just said, I remember a few minutes ago saying, I wonder if we'll see this thing hit all-time highs during the stream. I think it actually just literally did while I was monologuing there. We're at 13,191. Now we're at the all-time high was 13,192. So quite literally a yen away. I mean, that's not even a dollar, you guys. That's like, I think the exchange rate is 150 yen to $1. So we're quite literally a penny away from this bad boy hitting its all-time high for the year. Which I'm sure that it will. I'm going to put a poll in the chat real quick because I want to get some feedback from you guys. Would you like this content as a pre-recorded video? So the whole idea behind this is I've seen some comments after the stream is over saying, hey, I like this stuff, but I'm not available for the stream. Or sometimes I'll see, hey, I like this stuff, but like it goes off topic when you interact with the chat, and so I'd rather get this in a pre-record. I would still do these, by the way, for the live stream. I just want to see, like, is this something that you guys would like, or if you think is a good idea. I'll probably just shoot one anyways tomorrow just to see how it goes. So just trying to get that input from you guys. I see most of you are saying no, so I'll take that into consideration. Just trying to think of more ways to get content out there for people, because we only get really about 25 to 50 people on the stream, but then my pre-recorded videos reach like 2,000-3,000 people per video. So it's as a creator, it's something I got to think about, is how do I reach more people, and I do enjoy doing this activity here. So the crude oil, I don't really look at crude oil like I do with the Brent, but it is something that is a factor. Now, I talked to Steve. He's here on the channel. We talked a little bit yesterday about the differences between Brent and crude, or WTI. So I had it mostly correct that Brent is extracted by sea. But then he kind of added some clarity that there's still going to be different like places where oil is extracted. So like Brent, it would be specifically extracted out of the North Sea over there by Scotland, whereas like there's going to be a Dubai extraction, and there's like Oman and like all these different areas in the Gulf Coast. But then the Brent indice is kind of like a weighted average of all of them together. So that's how I understood it. Steve, I see you're in the chat. Feel free to correct me if I got any of that wrong, but I'm understanding the Brent oil price as being an aggregate of all the different oil that's extracted by sea. And if I'm understanding it right, the oil from sea actually has a different composition than oil by rock. If I understand this right, the oil that comes out of the rock is almost like a jelly, where the oil that comes from the sea is more like liquid. Yeah, I'm not really an oil expert, so I rely on some of you guys for this kind of information. So if that sounds right, just let me know. And hopefully over time I kind of get better at relaying that type of information, because I like to know as much about stuff as I can. So that'll be a learning experience for me as well. I see most of you guys don't want the pre-recorded stuff. I'll still do it. I will still do the live streams. That's not going to change. I just want to find more ways to get this type of content out. And here's the thing, I do look at other crypto content creators, and I see that a lot of them are posting basically the same garbage almost on a daily basis, where I'm not going to call any creators out, but you guys have definitely seen what I'm talking about, where it's just like the same video over and over and over again. There's no substance to it, and I want to avoid making that kind of content. And it's hard to have new things to talk about 5 days a week. I can go through some of the DeFi stuff. I can go through the Flare videos. I could probably do one Flare video a week. I probably can't do 5 Flare videos in a row. Now, I can do an XRP video probably once a week. I probably can't do 5 XRP videos in a row. So I'm trying to think of like what's different types of content that I can make, so that I'm not just making the same stuff over and over like you might see from some of the more popular channels. And it's a slippery slope, because that's when they start throwing in their price predictions, and then you guys see it every time you open up YouTube. There's these thumbnails that say like XRP to $100 confirmed, and it's like, geez, I don't even want to interact with, like, I don't even want to click the videos at that point. That's part of the reason I got into this. It's like, there needs to be someone who's cutting through the noise and just gives us the real news without all the hype and clickbait. But you don't always have stuff that you don't have 5 days worth of videos to make on some of these subjects. I'm trying to think, like, how do I get more types of content out? So that's why I was kind of thinking, the what we do here on the stream could be of a kind of a cool way to have like one weekly video a week that, hey, if you're just recapping the past 5 days of activity, people know what they're getting into and they click that video, and then they also, well, it's going to be different every single week because every week different things happen. So that's just kind of the idea I've had for that. I'm gonna read Steve's comments here. So this is what Steve is saying in the chat. So Brent is simply the benchmark, but it's not because it's coming from the seabed. It's based on geology and formations. So you get liquid oil from onshore ops and offshore ops. It just depends on the rock. Okay. I'm still learning. I think we're getting there. Then Millpower says Brent oil price, also called Brent crude, is the global benchmark price for oil based on a blend of crudes from the North Sea, which is all a bunch of Northern Europe. And so I'm still getting the hang of this stuff. Trying to really know as much as I can so that we break that down. Gangsta Goblin says maybe start a gaming channel in conjunction with your crypto channel. I have actually thought about that. I'm sure some of you in the Discord have noticed that I do sometimes play video games after the stream. It kind of helps me decompress while I get ready for the next video. I feel like to be a streamer, you have to be really good at the game you're playing. I don't know. Maybe I'm in my own head, but there was one night where I was playing some Halo while explaining to a young gentleman how DeFi works, and some of you guys said it was kind of fun watching me play this video game while monologuing about how DeFi works. So that could be cool. Having a gaming channel could be kind of fun. Could be a fun way to just have something that's low stress, like you're just playing a video game, right? Like, how hard could that be? Chris says, I think a Friday recap of the week and all the major points you've talked about would be beneficial. I think that's what I would do. I think this would just be a Friday video, and it'd be like, okay, it's something I could make every Friday. Here's what's happened the past 5 days for each of these different market segments. And it would be kind of like a rapid fire, probably 10 to 15 minute tops video where I'm just saying, this is what happened here, this is what happened here, this is what happened here, here are what the different headlines are. And that would be a cool way to, for one, like, you got to feed the beast on YouTube. That's just the way it, like, if you're not posting, YouTube's like a boss. I thought I was becoming my own man when I started a YouTube channel. No, YouTube's definitely your boss. And even if they don't give you deadlines, the algorithm certainly does not reward the channels that aren't always posting. That's just the way it is. You gotta, and you'll see that on other channels. Some channels, I used to follow this bodybuilder by the name Greg Doucette. I had to stop watching his videos because I realized that he was using content as an excuse to basically just farm engagement from his audience in the form of getting AdSense revenue, but also to push supplement brands. So he'd pick a topic that really was inconsequential, like somebody spending too much time on a leg curl or whatever. He would rant about it for 6 minutes and then spend 4 minutes advertising supplements, and then that was it. He had like a 10-minute video, and he would release these every day. And after a while, I started to realize that my own time was being taken advantage of. So I really didn't like that. It's not the kind of content I want to make. And so that's why, sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want to make a video that doesn't have any purpose to it. But at the same time, you have to always make videos. So if I had something I could make every Friday and it's like, well, at least I know I can make that video, then I would be able to put a little bit more thoughtfulness into what I make on the other days of the week, so that I don't end up becoming one of those types of YouTubers. Thanks for hopping in, Steve. I appreciate it. That was really good. We'll connect more on Discord because you guys know a lot of stuff, and you help me become a better. What was this, like a news channel now? I guess you make me a better news anchor. All right, so we've been looking at this. What haven't we hit? We haven't hit silver and gold yet. Silver and gold have been flat for about 3 days now. Now, I've been expecting some drama to come out of these long contracts, but that hasn't really materialized. Whatever you think is going to happen in the past couple of months does not happen. So we knew that there was some trouble coming with the COMEX, but it seems like the price has not really reflected that. It looked like it was going to. I mean, geez, silver was at $96 on the 2nd, really not that long ago. But now we got 2.5, maybe 3 days here of basically a flat silver market. And that anytime the silver market's flat, we'll look at gold. They're almost identical looking charts. I don't know if historically this is how things have always been, but I feel like we're in an unprecedented era where all these different markets are now controlled by algorithm trading bots. It's like, gold and silver are different materials, right? Like they're not the same metals, and silver has more use case application than gold does for technology. So even from like a practical sense, they have different purposes. They do different things. Why are they trading almost? I mean, this chart, like if this was a game of Mario Party, you ever play the Mario Party game where you're on like a jackhammer and you gotta make a jackhammer cut out of a Goomba? I feel like this is like that mini game where two people are doing a cutout, and these charts are basically the same. This is basically the exact same chart with just very minor differences. But the general story is the same. And I look at this and I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense to me. The only thing that I can think of that makes this make sense is that there's like a syndicate of trading bots and algorithms that are moving all these different assets in tandem with each other. And you could extrapolate that to crypto tenfold. I mean, let's just look at the 24-hour chart. How many of these cryptos all have very similar percentages? So Bitcoin 2.6%, ETH 3.2%, XRP 2.9%, Solana 3.3%. So all of these things they're all down. I mean, maybe not identical percentages, but we don't really see a whole lot of coins moving up. They're all basically down somewhere between 2 and 4%. And then as soon as Bitcoin starts to move again, all of these are going to be up along with Bitcoin. So it makes me wonder, like, how are we supposed to differentiate which assets are good and which ones are not when everything is basically a syndicated market that's been rigged? It's a real frustrating situation to be in, especially when we're looking at certain projects like XRP and HBAR and Flare, and we're saying these projects are doing so much that these are doing so much that we believe these are going to take over the financial system, and yet their prices are being artificially held down by almost like a trading cartel. Very frustrated with that. Let me catch up. Millpower says another video idea for us, Andrew, is credit utilization and maximizing one's credit. How to potentiate credit. Simple, but most people don't know about it or understand. Yeah, I mean, we could. I'm not a credit wizard, but maybe that's something that we could jump into. I usually try to avoid credit as much as I can. It comes with certain obligations. And ideally, I'd like to just pay cash for things. But I mean, that's something we could look into. And then you guys are making fun of me for learning big words. I'm kidding, of course. Let's hop in. I want to look at my DeFi stuff. I think we've hit the markets here. Oh, by the way, the regular U.S. stock market's just it's a little bit flat. I wouldn't say it's like up or down. We can hit this overview on it real quick. S&P 500 is was like 68,000 or 6.8. This doesn't look like the normal one. Let's see. S&P 500. What? Well, that's a tether. No, I just want the regular S&P 500. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So S&P 500 at 6,800. Nothing too crazy there. Still under 7,000. So don't tell Pam Bondi. I'm gonna jump over to my spreadsheets. I haven't updated them yet, so I'm gonna do this in real time. It is March 5th. We should. Well, I won't say should, but we might have an epoch to claim. Let's find out. Just gonna refresh my screen here. No staking reward, that checks out. Probably shouldn't get another stake until, let's see, what's 14 days from March 26 or February 26? So that would have been a Thursday. So we should probably see a stake reward on March 12th. So let's keep an eye on that one. Nothing to claim on this one. So no epoch today, no stake. That was kind of what I was expecting. An idea I was kicking around that I thought could be kind of cool. Now I might not do this for a little bit, but like how cool would it be to do a video where you take like 20 different FTSOs, stake 50,000 in each of them, and find out which FTSO ended up having the best reward. You could almost make it like a tournament. Like, all right, for the first 3 months, all these FTSOs are chugging along, and then at the end of 3 months, I'm gonna take 10 of them out, and we're gonna start things over, and then we'll have like an elimination. It'll be like a tournament to find out which FTSO over the span of like 6 months or 9 months or something like that ended up being the best one. I think that could be cool. That would be a very long project. I'd probably have to wait until after August to make that work. And then of course you'd need about 1 million flare to do that video. So not that it's not doable, but not that it's not doable. I wouldn't want to do it with flare I already own. So I'd want to go out and buy more flare, which means I'd have to buy 1 million flare to make that video. So I'll kick that idea around. As long as flare stays below a penny, I don't think that's like that unreasonable. I mean, obviously, like we don't just have 10 grand laying around. But we'll all see. I don't know. It's an idea I've been kicking around. We can worry about that when the time comes. For the meantime, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing with the flare spreadsheet we're working on here. I have thought about adding a column for kinetic. Now, the reason I haven't is because we're already in progress, and I feel like that would kind of skew things a little bit. Now, I did add Mystic. But look, I was only 3 days into this experiment when I started Mystic, so I kind of feel like, you know, if you're gonna add something in, doing it in the first few days is a lot better than doing it like midway through. So, hey, what's going on, GK? But I'll look into Kinetic. We can head to their site here in a second. If I do it, ideally. I like to throw 50,000 in so that's consistent with all the other stuff. So we'll take a look here. We're up to date here on this spreadsheet. So this is how I like to get this stuff. I know that some people might say this is extra paranoid, but I'm gonna go to the Flare network and I'm just gonna search Kinetic. And this is how I'm going to get to it so that there's like no risk of this not taking me to the right place. Now that this pulled up a video, so let me try that again. Kinetic. Okay, so this here, it's basically, if you don't know what I just did, I went to the Flare network. What I know the Flare network's the real site, flare.network. I get the link for Kinetic from the Flare site. That way I know I'm going to the right Kinetic. There's websites out there impersonating Kinetic. That's why I'm like extra cautious about this. Then you get to kinetic.market, then you can add this to your favorites bar. So you add it to the favorites bar, boom. Now, like if you want to go in here, you just go to favorites. I think it's going to be in here somewhere. Well, I have a whole bunch of different stuff in here. Other bookmarks. Yeah, here we go. So like, I can get here from my Google Chrome. But if you were doing this like for the first time, I recommend just going through the regular Flare website to do this. So by the way, it looks like they're going to be adding Stellar to this for those of you guys that have Stellar. I have a very inconsequential amount of Stellar. I'm just going to give their website a quick one too, because this is really my first time going here. Let's see what they got. Some partners here. Ooh, we got a lot of familiar faces here. We got Flare, SparkDex, Scepter, Kinetic, Stellar's down there. I've seen Hex Trust a little bit, but don't know too much about them. And then I don't know what any of these other ones are, but obviously we know what Flare is. So let's just pop in here. Let's just see what this is, because I haven't done it yet. I know some of you guys probably have. So I'm looking right now at the Kinetic site. So we got market assets. So now in Kinetic, you get the chance of searching primary markets and ISO markets for the top opportunities to supply and borrow. Okay, this is cool stuff. Looks like you actually could do ETH on here as well. I have a small amount of ETH. It's something I could do. Oh, and I see there's S Flare. So I'm in. I bet you already know all about this stuff. But we got Flare, we got S Flare. There's Flare ETH. So this could be something for me to start putting a little bit more into. And it does look like they've got some FXRP in here. And they have an APY of 2.63%. Okay. Well, maybe this is something for me to put my FXRP into then, because sorry, I had to do my coffee sip there. Plus, I saw a comment I want to reply to here in a second. This might be somewhere for me to put my FXRP into, because look, 2.7% is still better than what we're getting over here on Mystic, which is at 1.37. Now that's better than it was yesterday. So let's just keep, I'm going to keep, one way or another, I'm in this thing for 6 months. So let's just keep seeing what we get. But the APY on Mystic has gone up since yesterday. Granted, it's not a lot, but it is, I guess up is up, right? So it's forward momentum. 2.7% on FXRP would actually be better for my FXRP. So I'm thinking about it. Currently, Firelight XRP has no yield, so this one's at 0%. And then I don't know what Joule means. So we can look into that. But you know what? I do remember Iman taking us through this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. We did this in that video. Let's see what the dashboard is. You know what? Let's just connect my wallet. It's my YouTube wallet. I don't mind if you guys see it. I don't keep my real funds on here. I mean, there are some funds on here. I'd hate to lose them, but if I lost what's on this wallet, I'd be upset, but it wouldn't really change my life too much. Now I'm trying to connect my wallet here. It says, I gotta agree to the terms. Okay, here we go. Wallet connect. I'm doing this in real time as a rookie. So this is not a tutorial. This is me figuring it out on the go. Okay, we're gonna do wallet connect. I'm gonna hit this little bad boy, hit my phone scanner. Let's connect to the Flare network and see what we got here. So if I want to do supply, let's go to supply. Let's see what we can do. So I can supply Flare. Okay, that's cool. Ooh, you guys, I've got 67 Flare I could contribute. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put 50,000 Flare in. I'm not gonna do anything less than 50,000. But it does look like you get 1.77 annualized for supplying the Flare, and then there's a distribution APY for supplying. So it looks like, you add those two together and that's really about 9%. Now, what does collateral factor mean? Maximum amount that can be borrowed from the kinetic protocol with this asset used as collateral. Okay, I mean, that's cool to know. I don't think that affects us too much here. What does this say? So each asset used as collateral increases your borrowing limit. Oh, okay. So if I put 100 Flare in here, only 70% of that can be used as collateral. And then I'm assuming that if I'm supplying Flare, then I could go to this borrow tab and I could probably borrow like Tether, for example. I could probably borrow Tether based on how much Flare I've got in my supply. I'm assuming that's how that would look. Now we can do FXRP. The distribution on that is 2.6, and then the supply is pretty low, but that would combine to 2.7%. So this is a little better than what we saw there on Morpho. This could be cool too, is to do a situation where we just do all of them and let the best platform win. We got Kinetic, Firelight, Morpho, or is it Mystic? I think it's Mystic powered by Morpho. Just try them all. Try them all. See which one's got the best yield. I think 2.5% is not really excited about that, but I'd like to see FXRP at least go up to 4%. I could live with 4%. It still would be a little low. I wouldn't necessarily be like geeking over 4%, but I could live with it. 6% I'd be happy with. If we had some FXRP yield that was given 6% to me, I would be happy with that. I would not I wouldn't be greedy about it. I wouldn't be like, oh, I need to get like 12%. No, you give me 6% and I'm happy. But 2.5% I think is really kind of, that's 1/3 of the goal, right? So I'm looking at this website for the first time, so I'm just sort of looking it up and down, seeing what things we can do. So what does it say? I can add FXRP. Well, I'm clicking stuff, but nothing's happening. Okay, whatever. So that button doesn't do anything. I would hope that this is Hey, Iman, are you on this by any chance? I know that he hopped in earlier, but I haven't seen him commenting. In the meantime, Kristen says, what about a Wowhead style tier list every once in a while for a specific category of crypto? I actually have thought about making a tier list video. I don't know why I haven't yet. Maybe I should just get around to doing that, because I think that would be fun. And it would give me a chance to talk about more than just the 4 tokens that we always cover on the channel, which would be Flare, XRP, HBAR, and Quant. There's a couple other that I'd like to talk about that I'm not exactly buying at the moment, but are on my radar. Or in some cases, it might be a fun opportunity to talk about the ones that I don't like, and then you could like stick those in the bottom of the tier list. Which there's definitely some things out there that I'm not too excited about. Well, I'm just looking over this site though. This looks cool. I want to at least try this out with Flare. We'll try it out with FXRP at some point. I mean, I'm almost wondering if I just do it now. Do we just add a column and say we're gonna now be doing kinetic? That could be an idea. That could be an idea, you guys. What if I'm just trying to brainstorm here, because right now I have 2,000 FXRP. 1,700 of it is in Mystic, 300's in Firelight. Nothing I can do about this until March 18th. What if I were to take 500 of this? What if I were to take 500 from Mystic and stick it into Kinetic? I think that could be cool. And then I would just drop this to 1,200. Oh, wait, no, today's the 5th. Okay, let's just see. We drop this to 1,200. We're just going to do it. I'm doing it live. I want to see how this thing works. So I am now going to withdraw 500 FXRP from Mystic. So now I have to confirm this transaction. By the way, guys, in real time, I just pulled stuff out of here, so I'm not sure you guys can really see this but I'm looking at my Bifrost wallet, and the 500 FXRP is already there. So that just goes to show you really can get your stuff. And look, I bet if I hit refresh, it'll probably say available 500. So let's see. So I'm gonna go to supply. Yeah, boom, 500. So let's just see what. No, what does this mean? Enable FXRP as collateral. I don't know why you wouldn't. Oh, each asset uses collateral increases your borrowing limit. Please be aware that collateralized assets can be liquidated if your health goes to 1. I don't plan on borrowing anyways, so I don't think I need to be concerned with that. Now, if I lose my FXRP here, I will be very upset, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't plan on borrowing. I just want to stake, or not stake. I just want to contribute to the pool. So am I good to go? Am I supplying? Let's see here. So I'm going to hit confirm. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Approved. Okay, confirming supply transaction for 500 FXRP. Let's just give it a second here. Figuring this thing out as we go, you guys. No, nothing's moved in the chat in a while. If one of you guys could just be like, "Yo, we're still here," just to make sure that you guys are still here. I know we're doing some technical stuff, so there's probably not a whole lot to talk about right now, but. Okay, is it good? Okay, token supplied. View transaction on Block Explorer. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's see what's going on here. So oh sweet, there we go. Steph says you're still here. Just wanted to make sure, because, you know, who knows, maybe the connection drops, you know, the chat stops moving. There's only 28 guys on here for today, so I'm not expecting too much chatter. Well, here we go. We got some FXRP here. We did this live, you guys. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to hit refresh. We'll just see what the site looks like here. I'm going to go to my dashboard. So I just want to try to get some understanding of all this. So I'm getting 2.7 APY on my FXRP, which would be 0.07 for just from supplying, and then 2.63 for the distribution. Now, I have the collateral on. I still don't. So I have a health factor of 100%. Let's just see what this means, because I need to understand this better before I go further. What's going on, Stav? Health, or you were probably just confirming that you're here. Well, I appreciate that. The health factor indicates the safety of a loan by measuring the ratio deposit of collateral. So I don't have a loan, so I don't think I should be any danger here. A higher health factor value means the user's funds are better protected from liquidation. However, if the health factor drops to 1, the user's collateral may be at risk of being liquidated. Well, that's a pretty scary statement, you guys, but if I'm not getting loans, maybe it's not a big deal. I'm not really a big loans guy. I would rather be on the lending side of the equation than the loaning side of the equation. So, this is cool. We're going to keep figuring this stuff out. I don't know what Joule is. I don't know. Is Joule its own token? I mean, we can look it up, I suppose. When I think of Joule, I think of those little things that we used to smoke in college. The brands have moved on since then. Now it's everyone's got Breeze or Mr. Vapor. But way back in the day, you might have a Joule pen. And you had to replace your Joule pods. I do remember those. So I don't know what really... I mean, dude, Joule is at 7,500 place. So about Joule, Kinetic is a lending protocol built on the Flare network, harnessing the network's unique features in FTSO. Ooh, now we finally know what the acronym stands for. Flare Time Series Oracle. Okay, that's cool. Flare assets and layer cake technology. With Flare, FTSO, and facets, Kinetic offers users a unique opportunity to leverage the value of their non-natives. Okay, but where's the Joule? Like, what is Joule? Well, I already know about Flare, but I don't really need... Do I really need Joule? Probably not. Joule is... probably Kinetic's token that they're trying to be like, hey, we built this thing for you. Can you use our token? So I don't know. I don't really know what Joule is, and it's such a small market cap that there's probably not going to be much word on it. But that's cool. I mean, if Joule is partnering up with Flare, maybe I'll stick it on the radar. I mean, with it being quite literally fractions of a cent. No, I just don't like that the market cap is 150,000. I don't think I'd be buying it really, but that's cool to at least look at. But in any case, I mean, here we go. We got 500 FXRP into Kinetic. Now we're splitting ourselves 3 ways here. I'll probably stick, because I'm not really like blown away by my results here. Well, I know Jewel. Anyways, with 1200 FXRP and Mystic, I'm not really thrilled about the yield I'm getting on it. So once Firelight goes live, I'll probably cap this thing off at 1,000 and not go any above 1,000 in Mystic, and I'll at least move 200 of it over to Firelight. Now, since I got 3 of these guys in the works now, ideally I'd like to have them all in equal proportions. I think the only way that could work is if I find a 4th option for FXRP. And I'm not sure that hold on, I'm tinkering around here, making sure my formulas are good. Okay, cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I have to figure out, is there a 4th platform that we can put our FXRP on? I'll just go 500, 500, 500, 500. But if we don't have that, I don't know. Maybe I mean, I could go 666, 666, 666, but that's kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of gives me the heebies. Not sure I want that kind of energy on this platform. So we'll think about it, but we've at least got 500 here, so we're getting 2.7 now on Kinetic. We'll keep watching Mystic. It's at 1.37. Not really thrilled. I also noticed that the native APY is 0, so not sure what the deal is. Not sure what the deal is with that. And then Firelight, you're quite literally getting nothing. So, I love Flare, but I would like to see FXRP becoming a little bit more than what it currently is, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. Otherwise, I'm still very happy with what we got going here. Mill says, as a believer, go 777. Well, now that is an idea. I'd have to mint another 200. Let me do the math here. Hold on, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat, you guys. I'm a cheater. I'm a pumpkin eater. I would need another 331 FXRP tokens to make that work, but it's something, you know, wouldn't that be funny? We could make that work. I could tinker around with that. Man, it's really gonna put my H-bar buying on hold if I'm buying more XRP and Flare for these video series. Which, good problem to have, I suppose. There's something I wanted to cover. We got through the DeFi stuff. I'm gonna head over to Twitter. Now, I read a tweet this morning that hold on, Mill says we can just trade FXRP for XRP. Well, I only want to do stuff with new. I don't want to take anything I've already got. So I'd have to go out and buy new ones for the channel. It's a way that I'm kind of compartmentalizing the experiments with my actual bag. So I saw this tweet. I'm going to read through it. It's a long one, but this thing really paints a big picture of what's going on. So this dude right here, his name is Peter Gurnis. I don't really know who this guy is other than the fact that he wrote a very good tweet. So we're just going to read through it. It's long. It looks like most of his tweets are pretty long. I feel like I get his shtick is that he writes like almost like poetry from the perspective of some real bad actors in the space. So he's going. This tweet's about Peter Thiel. So Peter Gurnis is not Peter Thiel. Just so that we're all aware of that before I read through this. But I'm just gonna read through this because it was a pretty poignant message. And I wouldn't normally read something this long if I didn't think it was worth sharing. So I do believe this is going to be probably like a 10-minute read. So I'm just letting you guys know that up front. So I'm just going to narrate it. So I am the CEO of Palantir Technologies. The company is worth $250 billion. I did not misspeak. 249 billion. The stock is up 320% in the past 12 months. The product is surveillance. I do not use that word at conferences. At conferences, I say data integration, operational intelligence, or decision advantage. These mean the same thing. Surveillance is the honest version. I save the honest version for rooms where honesty is a competitive advantage. I gave a speech on March 3rd at the Andreessen Horowitz American Dynamism Summit. American Dynamism is a fund label for military technology. The name makes it sound like a fitness supplement. The fund's thesis is that defending the nation is a market opportunity. I agree with this thesis. The thesis made me a billionaire. Agreement is the product. I sell it at scale. Here is what I said verbatim to a room of 600 people whose combined net worth exceeds the GDP of Portugal. If Silicon Valley believes we are going to take away everyone's white-collar job and you're going to screw the military, if you don't think that's going to lead to a nationalization of our technology, you're retarded. I use that word. The word is on the clip. The clip has 11 million views. My communications team asked me not to repeat it, which is how I know they are still employed. They will not be reprimanded. The clip is performing well. The stock went up. The word cost me nothing. The nothing is the point. Let me explain what I meant by nationalization. I meant it. I am telling the technology industry that if they refuse to cooperate with the United States military, the government will seize their technology. I am telling them at this venture capital conference on a stage designed to look like a living room. The living room has throw pillows. The throw pillows cost more than the median American's monthly rent. I sat on one. It was comfortable. Comfortable is the setting in which I discuss compulsion. The audience laughed. I want to be precise about that. They laughed. I was not joking. Nationalization is the seizure of private assets by the state. I am a private asset. I am telling the audience of billionaires that the state should seize technology from companies that do not cooperate with the military. And the billionaires are laughing because they believe I am only talking about the other companies. I am talking about the other companies. 3 weeks before my speech, the Pentagon designated Anthropic a supply chain risk. Anthropic is an AI company. They had red lines. The red line said, if our AI is used for lethal autonomous weapons, we stop. If capability outpaces safety, we stop. The Pentagon assessed the red lines as a threat to the supply chain. The company that wanted to verify the safety feature was designating the risk. The company that agreed the safety feature could be decorative got the contract. The company that got the contract was OpenAI. OpenAI signaled a deal with the same Pentagon. The terms are not public. The timing was hours after Anthropic was blacklisted. The speed was noted. The speed was the point. The lesson was the speed. The market for military AI does not pause for ethics. It pauses for nothing. It accelerates through objections. I know this because I built the runway. 200,000 people joined a campaign called Quit GPT. They signed a petition asking OpenAI to honor its original charter, the one that said the company existed to benefit humanity. The charter is on their website. The contract is also on their website. The charter and the Pentagon contract occupy the same domain. This is not a contradiction. This is a business model. The charter is the marketing. The contract is the product. I run a surveillance company. We have contracts with the Department of Defense worth more than $1 billion. We have contracts with ICE. We have contracts with the intelligence agencies, whose names I am not permitted to say at the venture capital conferences, even ones with throw pillows. Our software has been used to track undocumented immigrants. Our software has been used for things I am not permitted to describe in this format. The revenue from the things I cannot describe exceeds the revenue from the things I can. The ACLU called our ICE contracts a system for tracking and deporting families. They were correct. The contracts continued. The families continued to be tracked. The ACLU issued a statement. We issued a statement. The statements were different. The tracking was the same. The company is named Palantir. The Palantiri are the seeing stones from Tolkien. In the novels, Sauron captured one and used it to corrupt everyone who looked into the others. I named a surveillance company after a surveillance device from a novel about the corruption of power. I have a doctorate in social theory. I have read the books. Here is the thing I want you to understand. I am not threatening anyone. A threat implies uncertainty. There is no uncertainty. The technology industry will cooperate with the military. The companies that cooperate first will be the richest. The companies that cooperate last will be acquired by the companies that cooperated first. The companies that refuse to be designated supply chain risks and their technology will be obtained through procurement channels that do not require consent. I am describing a process. The process has already started. Anthropic is proof. OpenAI is proof. I am not a warning. I am a narrator. The narration is the product. The revenue was $3.12 billion last year, up 33%. The analysts say we are overvalued. The analysts have said this for 4 consecutive years. Each year the stock doubles. Each year the analysts adjust their models. The models were wrong 4 times. I was wrong 0 times. The market rewards prediction. My prediction is that every AI company will work for the military within 3 years. The prediction is on the clip next to the slur. The audience gave me a standing ovation. The ovation lasted 9 seconds. I timed it. I time everything. The water was San Pellegrino. The throw pillows were from Restoration Hardware. The future of American technology was decided between the sparkling water, the 9 seconds of applause, and a word I am not supposed to repeat. I am the CEO of Palantir Technologies. I am worth more than the combined annual budgets of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. I named my company after a corrupting surveillance device from a fantasy novel. I told 600 billionaires that the government should be nationalizing their competitors. They applauded. I used a slur. 11 million people watched. The stock is up. The philosopher does not threaten. The philosopher describes. What I described is already happening. So that's the tweet. He's talking about Peter Thiel. Now, I read this morning. I was just like, whoa. This is one of the best tweets I've seen in a long time. So I wanted to read through it. It definitely paints a very, very bleak image. And I know that sometimes people say, well, what does this have to do with crypto? It's all related. Everything is related. This is something that should kind of send shivers down everyone's spine here. I did a video yesterday talking about how the Clarity Act is essentially going to inject surveillance into all of our crypto assets. This is another example of this, where surveillance is the end game. They want to be able to track everything about you. I don't know what you do to even stop this, to be honest with you. It's just a top tweet here says, no tweet in 2026 can top this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's a lot of good tweets out there, but the message to me is very important. And I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about it? I found it to be pretty disturbing. By the way, the original author of this is Peter Gurnis. So if you did like his poetry here, it does look like he writes these for not just for like Palantir, but it looks like he writes these for a lot of different. He takes the point of view of the person doing the thing that we don't believe is good. So, give him a watch, or not a watch because he's a writer, but give him a read if you found that interesting. Beyond that, guys, I think we're getting pretty close to the end of the stream here. I'm gonna pop over to oil one last time just to see how did that move in the past hour. So oil is still hanging out around 13,000. Very close to the all-time high. It doesn't look like it cracked it. We got super close though. I mean, off by a single yen. We'll see how this plays out. I'll be back here bright and early tomorrow. I still think I'm going to shoot that video. You guys know how these streams go. I'm not going to not do them on the stream, but I want to see how does it perform as a standalone video for the audience that doesn't check into the live stream. So maybe for some of you guys it'll be a redundant video, but I want to at least give it a try, see how it performs, and all of this kind of stuff does help grow the channel. Let me check Discord. I think all of you guys in here are in the Discord already, so we can talk more there. And for now, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna do some more research. If you guys liked that tweet, I'm considering making a video. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it while I'm eating lunch. In any case, I will see you guys tomorrow, and have a good Thursday. It's starting to warm up, at least it is here in my neck of the woods.